Hello, my name is Doug Dortch, minister at Captiva Chapel by the Sea. Thank you for being with me today again as we look at another passage of Scripture this week that I hope will offer you some encouragement and support. I'm going to read for you a passage from the book of Psalms. In fact, it is most likely the most popular of Psalms, certainly one of the more familiar Psalms. Many of you don't even need a passage of you don't need a Bible to be able to follow along because you know this psalm by heart. It's the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I remember when my son was young and my wife and I were helping him to memorize the 23rd Psalm. He came to that line, He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and being just a small child, he said, and I don't want to. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and I don't want to. As a child, he wasn't interested in taking a nap. He wanted to play and be active. And the more I've thought about that, the more I have become convinced that there are a lot of people who have grown up, have grown old, but they haven't necessarily matured in their faith to the point that they realize that we really are better in life when we trust our way to God. I remember someone saying once that why was the image, the metaphor that the psalmist used one of a sheep? I don't want to be a sheep. I want to be a lion or an eagle. I want to be something that can fend for itself. And a sheep seems to be so gentle and docile and dependent. And what a lot of people want out of life is independence. And I get that. There's nothing wrong with it, except when it comes to the point that in our desire to be independent of everything and everyone, we include God in that mix. And we aren't willing to cast our cares upon God as Scripture invites us to do. One of the most misunderstood sayings, in the sense that people think it's in the Scripture and it isn't. God helps those who help themselves. There are a lot of people who think that's in the Bible, and that's not in the Bible. That's in Benjamin Franklin's Poor Richard's Almanac. And yet so many people take that to be their philosophy in life, that somehow God's going to help me if I try a little harder. No, what the Bible wants us to understand, and this most familiar Psalm, Psalm 23, challenges us to believe is that God helps those who can't help themselves. Now think about that for a moment. God helps those who cannot help themselves. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It may be that today there is some situation that is driving you crazy, has frustrated you and exasperated you, and you've done the best that you know how to do to be able to rise above that situation, and it's just out of your control. You have no peace. You have no sense of contentment in your heart because of how this is a vexing situation. But how might it be different if you trust that situation to God? And you understand that God is present to help you in that very area. And instead of continuing to try to solve that situation for yourself, why don't you see where God is at work in it and how the power of God might enable you to find a way when there doesn't seem to be a way. Even as the psalmist said, we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That's as challenging as it can get. There's no reason to be afraid. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. There is no reason to be fretful. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He fills my cup. He anoints my head with oil. It runs over. God has everything that you need in order to experience the fullness of life to which He has called you through faith in Jesus Christ. So, allow God to be your shepherd this week and go where the Spirit of God directs you to go, and you will find the life that God has created you to know, that Jesus is redeeming you to know. And it may be that this week, with God's help, can be the best that you've ever experienced. I hope so. I hope you have a great week. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again next Sunday.